Greetings. Welcome back to Now Read This with Shazam Watkins, hosted by me, yours truly. The show in which I talk about books, read books, discuss books, and all things to do with books and audiobooks. It's been a while since my last true book upload with fine quality audio, but as you can see, I'm more handsome than ever and more tan than ever too. It's been a wild ride lately, guys, and we're just going to get right back into it. I've decided on doing, at this point, just one video per week for the most part. We'll see. It might change, but with the next book that I'll be doing, that's kind of the plan moving forward. I also want to, this year, implement something hopefully more interactive with you guys, whether that's more live streaming or maybe even doing books together on some sort of Zoom, I don't know, something like that, where you guys could interact with me. Anyway, please like and subscribe. Never said that shit before. Hate saying it. We'll probably say it every video now because it does help, and I do want more of you guys interacting. And throw comments down below if you think one video is too little or you want more. Not that it'll change my perspective or my decision. It might, but you never know. Okay. Really bad. Okay, cringe. So today, I want to talk to you guys about The Princess Bride. Now, I've talked about doing The Princess Bride for a long time, and I figured the first video of this new, season should be me just introducing this book and telling you a little bit about why I chose it and why I love it, and maybe explaining how I'm going to approach the reading next week. So, first of all, this is my favorite movie of all time. A lot of people probably think that's weird. I don't care. I've watched the movie many, many, many times since I was very, very young. And the greatest part about it for me is that it just has continued to be relevant to my mind. When I first watched it, it was mostly adventure and sword fighting and excitement and romance and things like that. And those are all great things, and that movie has everything. But as I got older, I just started noticing how funny it was, and it really is a comedy. And at this point, it's almost like every line in the movie is comical to me. Not only that, but I know more about the actors, the director. Rob Reiner was the guy that did Spinal Tap. I love Spinal Tap as well, although I saw that later on in my life. And then obviously Christopher Guest as the six-fingered man is just fantastic because he is a comedian, basically. He plays and portrays more comical figures, generally speaking. So seeing him in that kind of role as this sinister force where Inigo Montoya's vengeance is directed towards is just refreshing and cool. And there's a lot of, other cast members that are pretty legendary and almost like cult figures that are in that movie. The making of the movie was very interesting. There's a book called, I think it's just called As You Wish by Cary Elwes or Cary Elwes, or however you pronounce his name, the man in black, or Wesley. He wrote a book about the making of the movie, and I highly recommend that if you like the movie, if you like the story, if you like William Goldman's writing. He's a great writer. But everything about the movie should not have happened. And the way that it happened, it's absolute perfection. There's literally nothing about it that I would change or adjust. And knowing who they initially were, trying to cast as certain characters, it would have just completely changed the movie. And it might have still been good, but it wouldn't have been the same. So it's just a crazy story. Definitely look into it. One of the main reasons I wanted to do this book on the channel was because I like doing the voices. And I've always tried to emulate Fezzik, for example, and made people laugh doing that. And I do my best at impressions and things, but oftentimes the best books that I can read are where I have some sort of auditory or visual example of how someone should sound. That being said, it's not going to be completely accurate by any means, but I'll do my best. And so this audiobook will largely be based off of how I hear the characters throughout the movie, which I think is a good way to approach it. Because I could approach this book with completely different voices in mind, but that's not why I want to do the book. I want to do the book because the movie's so good. So enough about the movie. Let's talk about the book. So when I first read this book, I expected it once again to be that, like swashbuckling adventure novel that I knew the movie basically was. And to my surprise, it was not at all really like that. And I read it and I was very weirded out by it. I remember enjoying it, but I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't more like the movie. There were certain aspects to it that I just couldn't take very seriously. And that's namely because when I watched the movie, I wasn't aware that it was really a comedy. Now when I watch the movie, I realize that it's a comedy amongst many other things. And so the book now makes a lot more sense to me. This edition that I have is not the original edition. This is the 54th, whatever. Let's see. This is the 25th anniversary edition, the 30th anniversary edition. So a little bit of backstory. William Goldman apparently wrote the first page of this book and then came back to it after about 11 years. And the reason he called it The Princess Bride, I guess, is because he asked his daughters what he should write his next book about, and one of them said a princess, and one of them said something about brides. So he wrote the first page, didn't pick it up for 11 years, and then came back to it and wrote this book. The interesting part about this book is that William Goldman has created basically a kind of dimensional, I think this microphone's falling down, a dimensional paradox, if you will. Apologize for that squeak. I have an animal in this room. And the point is that he's acting in this book, his role as like breaking the, I don't know, whatever wall, the third wall or the fourth wall or the fifth wall at this point. William Goldman wrote this whole book, but he's writing it as if he's abridging it from a work by S. Morgenstern, who's a fictional historical character, and he apparently wrote a long and very drawn-out version of what would become The Princess Bride by William Goldman. So William Goldman is the author, indeed, of this entire text, but he's pretending to have edited it down from a larger work by another fictional character. So it's kind of hard to follow sometimes, but you kind of got to get it. Now, he added a lot in the beginning, and he added a lot towards the end. I will talk about the way he breaks it down. So in this particular book, he has introduction to the 30th anniversary edition, introduction to the 35th anniversary edition. Then he has The Princess Bride. Then he has Buttercup's Baby, an explanation, which I've never read. He also has Buttercup's Baby, Chapter 1, Fezzik Dies. I'm not going to read that because I don't want to know if Fezzik actually dies. The last one is Reading Group Guide. Again, haven't read those things, don't care. I want to read The Princess Bride. So that's why I'm kind of giving you a little bit of a backstory and an example of what he's talking about. So in the introductions, he's mostly going through, which I did read, he's mostly going through and talking about his experience in tracking down information about how to put The Princess Bride together. So it's kind of like a long, drawn-out explanation of his adventures in finding out, or in going through Morgenstern's work and editing it down, which again is totally untrue. It didn't happen, but it is genius. So I will just be reading The Princess Bride. I don't want to read the other stuff, at least right now. We're just going to go with The Princess Bride because it's a great story. And after reading it again this time, it just reinforced how much I feel like I've subconsciously gained from his writing just based on the script to The Princess Bride. In my own writing is what I'm saying. And the funniest thing too is as I was reading this again, which the first time probably in like 15 years that I've read it, I noticed how similar William Goldman's writing is to someone like Douglas Adams. It's very funny. It's very witty. It almost has a very simplistic sense of humor to it. And I'm not saying that Douglas Adams doesn't have a complex and insane, brain when it comes to writing comical things, but that's just who it reminded me of enough or more. And I think it's kind of fitting that I started this channel with Douglas Adams stuff, and I'll be going on to this guy. So anyway, that's my introduction. I could talk literally endlessly about how great this movie is, how great this book is, the entire concept, the characters, the names, the accents, all of it. And if you guys want, we can do a live stream about that. I can tell you about it, whatever. But with that being said, it's just funny that my favorite movie in the world was this close never to have been made, never to being made. And it was this close to, if it had been made, being made incorrectly, and it wasn't. It was made perfectly. And I'm really pumped to read this to you. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this. I'll just upload this today. You can expect the next chapter next week, I guess the first chapter next week. One more note is that The Princess Bride really doesn't have chapters. It has kind of sub-books within it. And so it's probably around 200 pages or so, and there's 3 sections. So I'm not going to read them all in, one sitting, or else I'll lose my mind and go insane because I just can't sit here and read that long. Also, this is not my new set. It's just where I'm at currently. So yeah, at this point, the only question I have for you guys is, would you like the chapters uploaded? Which day of the week do you guys want the chapters uploaded on? Please comment below if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I don't really give a hoot, but I'll be recording them Mondays. So if you want them to drop Mondays, let me know. But just let me know in the comments section. Comment. Also, thank you to Mr. Mail from Instagram, who designed the intro to this video. It's the new intro. I've never had one. I'm going to start using it. I may have him do some variations with it, but it's very generous of him to throw that genius clip together. I really like it. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, much love. May the good blood guide your way. God bless, and I'll talk to you later.